Good afternoon. Today I thought we would go over a Thundermax install, literally from opening the box to finishing off the install with loading the map and doing the total initial idle tune on this 2016 Roadglide. We'll be starting here in just a second, so if you would, hang tight and we'll go over everything as best we can for you. Stay tuned. So when you buy a Thundermax, it's going to come in a package similar to this, if not exactly like this. Basically, it's a clamshell plastic container. Just open it up, and you should have your Thundermax here. It will have both your 18 millimeter O2 sensors for the headers right here. And then the back side of the box is where all the goodies are. These two plastic covers are for the stock O2 sensor plugs to cover them up to guard from rain and moisture. And this is the T connector, Y connector from the Thundermax itself into each 18 millimeter O2 sensor. And they're labeled front and rear. So it's pretty hard to get that messed up. In the bag, you'll see you get really good and clear instructions. Should you need to read through them, you can. Or if you're watching this video, you won't need to. So they give you zip ties, a couple of really cool stickers, and a data cord, along with some dielectric grease. This is very important. Don't throw this away. You're going to need this, and I'll show you how to apply it here in just a second. First thing we're going to do is install both front and rear O2 sensors into the headers. Okay, here we have the front header, and the O2 sensor already has anti-seize on it. Thundermax is kind enough to put the anti-seize on it for us. So we're just going to reach in here and install the O2 sensor. Your headers must have an 18 millimeter port for this to work. So you're going to need to check and see if your headers are already set and manufactured with the 18 millimeter ports. If they're not, you're going to have to change your headers. Okay, that's the front one. Okay, that's the rear one. Okay, on the O2 sensor wire routing, you just want to keep the wire away from the exhaust as best you can. So we always pull the front one through, something like that. Then you route it along the frame and use the zip ties that they gave you. What I'm going to do is pull the oil pressure light there, put this wire behind it. It'll go down along the frame here. It could be attached with zip ties. So on the rear, we'll pull it through, route it nice and neat. You can bring it up inside the frame here, like so. All right, on to the next step. The next step, we're going to pull the factory ECU out. Got some clips here, and it should pop right out, like so. Then you'll pull the red tabs down, and they should pop right off with a little tab here. 1, 2, 3, just like that. You'll want to keep the factory ECU, don't throw it away. remember what I was saying about the dielectric grease. I usually take some scissors and cut a little area off of the front right there so that the dielectric grease will come right out in an orderly manner and it's controllable. All right. Then you come in here to each plug and you apply dielectric grease on each plug. See how nice and neat that is? You control where the dielectric grease goes. Then just kind of mash it in the holes there. This is an important step, whether you believe it or not. You got to do this. Don't skip it. You'll be calling me one day wanting to know what's wrong with your Thundermax. Okay. Now we can come in here and plug the Thundermax in just like so. Okay. Next thing is we're going to put dielectric grease on our Y cable. Same thing. Right on the end there. And I like to put some around the edges. It makes it go into the Thundermax port a lot easier. Also helps to seal it. All right, and then that plugs in right here, tab to the bottom, just like that. All right, so next we're going to be plugging in the O2 sensor cables, but we're going to also want to put dielectric grease on these as well. Go ahead and apply the dielectric grease. Get it down in the pins as best you can. Very important step. You wouldn't think so, but trust me, it is. All right. Okay. Since they're both labeled correctly, this one's labeled rear. We can put it here in this cavity and plug in the rear O2 sensor. You know it's the rear one because it came from the rear header. We're going to plug that in and we'll come back and secure it in just a few minutes. Now the front, this is the wire for the front. It's going to be routed down along the frame and secured with zip ties, just like that. So what we're going to do on the front O2 sensor is we're going to secure it along the frame, not under the frame, but along the frame. You got to think about rolling down the road, hitting speed bumps and things like that. You want to tuck it in as tight as you can, away from the header. And always cut your extra strap off when you put tire wraps on. 2 zip ties should do the trick, but if you want to use more, you can certainly use more. Totally up to you. Okay, so as far as the physical installation of the Thundermax, that's pretty much it. You don't want any wires sticking up anywhere. You'll also want to be sure that you put the little rubber caps on the old O2 sensor plugs here just to keep moisture out, because we don't use these any longer. The factory O2 sensors have come out and have been replaced with the new Thundermax 18mm O2 sensors with its own cable. So these will be abandoned, but we don't want any water or moisture to get in them, so just put those caps on. That's why they send them. Okay, now comes the good part. We're going to go through this step by step once again. And as usual, I do a lot of these Thundermax, so I'm going to X out of anything I've done in the past. I do not want to save that session. I do not want to save that one. So we're at the bottom of the barrel there. So now I'm going to turn this bike on. So the bike has been turned on. The cable is connected to the Thundermax to the computer. And the first thing that happens is the Thundermax is asking for a VIN number. So we're going to oblige Sir Thundermax. And we are going to test that VIN number to see if it works out. Yep, it says it's a 103, but we know this bike's been changed to a 110. It's a 2016 Street Glide. So that's fine. And it is air-cooled. Module's not registered, so I'm going to register this. Okay, we've got all the registration information in there, and I want to send it in, so you hit yes. Boom. Thank you for registering. Good deal. Now we have to find a map for it. And it's throttle by wire. And we're going to show all maps. Now let's find a 110. Right there is a 110. And let's see if we can find the cam. That's leading us to map number 359. So let's load base map 359. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to map editing and we're going to write that map in there. Yes. It does have compression releases, yes. I don't know if you noticed when I first started on this and I was Xing out windows, the first one was black. If there's a black window on there, that's designating that that map is set for a bike that is throttled by cable, old cable type throttles. If it's a blue window, that designates that it's a throttle by wire. It's electronic throttle. You can potentially put the wrong map in one, so pay attention to what you're doing. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to do the whole turn the power off and back on 3 times. Power off, wait for the green light to go out. Okay, now we can power on. That's the first one. We're going to wait for the green light to link, to come on. This is a fairly slow process. You have to be patient with it, but you need to do it 3 times. Okay, green light came back on. So we're going to shut the power off, wait for it to turn red. Turn the power on. That's number 2. All right, turn it off, wait for it to turn red. Okay, turn it back on. This time we can try and start it once it links up. Turn on our monitor button here. All right, tells us our room head temperature is 60 degrees. That's about the temperature it is in the room here. And then we're going to go to AFR, ratio curves, AFR correction versus engine temperature. This is going to show us how the engine's doing on its initial idle tune. So let's start this thing and see what happens. Those front and rear AFRs are right where they should be. The idle is a little high. That's because the bike is cold. It'll drop the idle down as it gets warmer. All right, the bike's reached 180 degrees, so we're going to shut it off. And let's take a look here at what it's done. So this bike came with a 103 from the factory. It's got a 110 big bore kit in it with a high lift cam. And so we went ahead and installed a map. And as you can see where those green squares are, that's what the Thundermax has adjusted due to the difference from of the cams probably. But we're going to go out and ride it and make sure that the timing's right. And then we're going to go through our tuning procedure to make sure that the fuel, to make sure that the AFRs front and rear are okay, timing's okay, make sure it pulls like it's supposed to.